Hello everyone, I'm John and welcome to a special Arty class webinar hosted by Shopkeep Arty, the online platform helping everyone to be inspired, learn new things and have fun creating. If you hadn't already guessed, it's our birthday today, so I've made a very special effort, badge and all, and after this Arty class we're screening a video premiere on YouTube with some of our highlights over the last year, so I hope you can watch it. Today we are zooming to San Diego, California to paint a lovely spring scene with award-winning watercolour artist Keiko Tanabe. Live is the best way to learn, as you can ask questions directly to the artist as you paint along. If you're watching a recording of this event, you can find a full list of materials and reference photos on the link in the description below. So without further ado, let's hit the travelometer to the left of me and go and see Keiko. So, mostly self-taught, Keiko embarked on a professional art career in 2005 and started exhibiting publicly. Around the same time, she also discovered the joy of plein-air painting. Her paintings have been juried into many exhibitions across the Americas, Asia and Europe, and her work has been purchased by private and corporate collectors from around the world. Let's go and say hello to Keiko.
Good morning.
How are you
Happy
doing?
birthday. Happy birthday, John.
Thank you very much.
And
Thank you very much.
Keep
I know
Arty.
it's kind of feels. Someone said had the time passed quickly, and this morning I was saying actually, yeah, no, not really. It's been quite full on over this last year with all the different classes. I think we've hosted about 200 hours of classes and
Oh my
everything. And
goodness.
can you believe that this is our ninth show together?
Oh wow.
I
No
know,
wonder. I
I know.
feel very
It's
close to
amazing.
you.
I know, it's amazing,
We
isn't
have
it?
become good friends even though we have never met in person.
I know. Well, we'll have to change that. One year, we'll have to change that. Right now, I'll let you get prepared before I come back. So, unlike our free 45-minute Arty class webinars, which get oversubscribed, these special Arty webinars guarantee you a place and are more exclusive since we don't live stream. Some of you will have paid to join in live today, but most of you will be our Shopkeep Arty patrons. You get access to these special classes for free. A 1-month patron membership includes complimentary access to all these special classes and starts at the same price as it costs to attend this one show. So it really is a no-brainer. There's no hidden fees and you can cancel at any time. So if you do want to find out more, simply head over to Shopkeep Arty, where you can find out more about how our patron program can save you money. It also supports us as well with these classes. So these 1-hour webinars are designed to give you a short, sharp boost of creative inspiration from leading artists around the world, an amazing opportunity to join them live and experience different multicultural influences. Around halfway, I'll take a pause and we'll ask Keiko about her upcoming workshop event, which is happening next week. So let's get back to Keiko and we'll make a start. Hello again, Keiko.
Hello. Well, it's still dark here, early in the morning in San Diego, California.
I
But
know.
spring is here. So I like to paint the spring landscape today. And I'll show you how I do it.
Brilliant.
I like to pretend as if I'm there because I paint outside most of the time. I like plein air painting. So even if I work in a studio, I pretend to be outside. So I hope you do the same. But anyway, I think this painting that I'm going to use as a model today was created somewhere in France, I think. But it doesn't really matter. You can, if you like, you can replace the building. Maybe you can put your house over there. If you like your house to be in the scene, put yourself in the scene as well.
It's so
With your
lush
dog,
and green,
maybe.
that Keiko. I can almost smell the grass cuttings as the lawnmower is going on. It really does feel like spring when I look at that. It's lovely.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, I think it's the colors first of all that says this is spring, right?
Yeah.
And then also, the smell, and then maybe that comes from the, element like the tractor and the farmer. cutting grass maybe. Yeah, so, but anyway, I like to create a painting that looks full of life, and I hope it does look interesting to you. And then I will do this landscape. So in the foreground, it's the kind of like a meadow or field with the spring colors. And if you like, you can put a little bit more colors, even make it more lively. But I'm suggesting maybe some flowers, but that's I keep it an option. But in the background, well, it's not really a village. It's actually just one chateau, almost like a big building, and some trees and mountains in the back. So, but anyway, it's a typical landscape because there's a horizon and the sky, and the background, something far away, and the middle ground is usually the busiest place. And so you see buildings and trees and even a tractor there. And the foreground says it's a landscape. I mean, it's a meadow, countryside, not a city, right? So it's a very typical landscape composition. Okay, so I'm going to do first of all show you how to do a drawing, and after this I'm going to start putting colors. All right, so the horizon is something I would make first. Well, by the way, I'm using pencil to draw. I usually draw first before I start painting. Okay, and then this drawing, I don't like drawing to look too tight. I try to make it look loose, but it has to look good because, like I always say, drawing is a foundation of the painting. If it's not good, if it's not strong, you cannot build anything strong on top of it. So you have to really make sure composition, you found a good composition and you draw it well. So I'm almost copying the building because I really like this building that I sketched. And so it's almost the same. And maybe making a little bit smaller in today's composition so that I can show a little bit more the surrounding area to show depth. Okay, and then after this, I will talk about colors before I actually start painting. So the tractor may be a little difficult to draw. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. You don't have to have anything, and it can be just a building and a field in front of it. And maybe you can put some colors to indicate flowers to make it a little bit more exciting if you don't want to do tractors especially. But yeah, it could be replaced with something else. If you actually, when I was painting there, I saw some chickens roaming around, so that might be interesting, or some cows and a dog and running, kids playing, whatever. I like telling story in my painting, so anything that you think is appropriate is fine with me. Okay, so anyway, the drawing is done like this, and I haven't really changed much except for the size of the building. And so the colors, that's what I wanted to talk about, even though I did suggest some colors for today's sketch. It was just a suggestion, and I also said you can bring any of your favorite colors, right? So I hope you did. But to paint countryside, especially in the springtime and when everything is coming alive and lots of greens, of course, depending on where you live. But green is not really an easy color to deal with, as you may agree. And a lot of artists even say green is not their favorite color. And I wonder why. And I like green actually, but I don't really have to have any type of pre-mixed green in my palette because green can be made by mixing, right? As you know, blue and yellow make green. So just to show you an example, if you have lemon yellow, for example, in your palette, and then you have blue, whatever blue. Here I have phthalo blue and cobalt blue, and then I mixed lemon yellow and the phthalo blue, and I get this, and cobalt blue with cobalt blue, I get this, a little similar. And of course, if I have green, that's fine too. So like, for example, So phthalo green deep, this is the color, phthalo green light, this is the color. So what if I mix them with a lemon yellow respectively? I get these colors, right? And then I did the same with the rose sienna and quinacridone gold. So if you, as you can see, if you mix yellow and blue, you get a little bit more muted, more interesting, in my opinion, greens. And then of course, it depends on the percentage of the yellow and blue. If you have more blue, of course, it'll be a darker green. More yellow means lighter green, right? So, but with any different choice of blue and yellow, make a different type of greens, of course. But if you add lemon, yellow or blue to any existing green, of course, so you will not get the same green, but a little yellower, more bluer type of green, and you can just maybe make an indefinite number of greens by with like a few blues and yellows, really. So it's fun. And it's worth a try, I think. And if I don't know how many yellows and blues you have, but the yellow can be orange or even brown, right? And then I'm sure you have at least 2 or 3 blues in your palette. So just play around and see which combination makes an appropriate type of green you need. So just to show you an example, I'm not saying I will use all of the greens today. I'm just saying you just don't need pre-existing greens, or even with that, you can mix yellow or blue or any type of colors to an existing green to make a different type of green. So you don't really need a whole lot of colors in your palette. Okay, let's start the painting.
So Keiko, I've just got a question for you. If you were out plein air painting at the moment and you were sat with this view, with this building and everything, would you sketch it out like you've done now with a pencil first?
I would, yes. I think sketching is important sometimes, and I did a painting without sketching, but it was a little bit difficult because I'm not going to talk too much about this today, but I will in the workshop next week. But to understand the tonal values, where is light, where is dark, is so important. So while I'm sketching, I try to understand that. Okay, and also I draw where the light meets dark. Okay, so I don't draw everything, but I have to understand where the light meets the dark inside the composition. And it's not just one spot. There are many places where that happens. So if I don't do anything to remember that, of course, then I can easily make mistakes, and which means that I can get mixed up with, and then I put the dark where the light should be, and I don't darken enough where the dark should be. It's too light, and that sort of thing. And so to avoid the confusion and avoid making mistakes, I sketch.
Yeah.
So,
And what about you were talking about putting people in or things like that. Would you kind of use your imagination sometimes if you felt it needed a little bit more life?
But usually when you're doing plein air, unless you're in the wilderness, or where nothing is really happening, or even there, and I don't want to say that. Always something's happening,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you have to find excitement in what you see. And plus, you probably have to choose a subject where some action is taking place. So, but if you're plein air, actually the scene you're painting, there may not be no animals or people, but if you look around, you can find something to put it in your painting. So it's a lot easier. But if you work from a photo, sometimes it's hard. And if you're always full of imagination, maybe it's easy. But for most of us, it's a little hard to picture what could be outside the photo, right?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Okay, so are we ready to paint?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I don't always start with the sky, but today I think I don't mind. So I'm going to put this very pale lemon yellow in the sky. You might say, what? Yellow sky? Yes, why not? Actually, sky color, even though it's pale, it sets the tone. If you want happy painting, you don't really want to use a somber color. And well, of course, this lemon yellow, I don't know how you would define. It's a little bit cooler yellow, right? But it's a springtime, it's not summer. If it's a summer landscape, and of course it depends on the time, but I would maybe choose a different color. So a little bit of coolness in the air is fine in springtime, because I will use warmer colors elsewhere. So it would not be a very somber painting. But anyway, I like to add a little bit of raw sienna to this color to paint inside the building. Okay, but if you notice, I avoided putting this color in the roof area. Okay. All right. So I will not paint the roof right now. I will a little bit after. Okay, and then maybe tractor too. I will just leave it white at this moment, but I will paint the field. So this field, of course, you can use any type of color. Of course, it depends on what's there. But I would say this is like a meadow, grassy field. And it's springtime, so I like to use the appropriate color. So I just mixed, well, I have phthalo green in my palette. I used to have Viridian. I have to buy one, another tube. I have just run out, so I replaced it with a phthalo green. But it could be Viridian, but I added the lemon yellow to it. So it has a little bit more spring green type of color in my brush. Okay, like this. So I made a rose. I'm not really indicating anything. It's just a grassy field. But I wanted to show a little bit different colors. So first it was a Viridian and then a yellow mixture. And then in between rose, and I left a little bit of spaces, not very neatly, but I like to use a little different color. I just added a rose sienna to that color mixture. But this way, I can show a little bit of perspective, because all these rows are kind of going towards the back and almost on the back of the behind the tractor, right? Showing perspective inside the painting is very effective to show a depth or three-dimensionality on a flat surface. Okay, so here I think you can, of course, put these colors all the way to the bottom of the paper. But if you want to do something like wildflowers or whatever, it's just to show something different. So I will add darker green, which I made with the Viridian and burnt sienna. Okay, like this. And of course, the movement of the brush is different, right? So it will look a little bit more random, because these are not, this is not field anymore. Over there, it's more flat. Here, it's more random or wilder, right? And then maybe I will splatter some spring colors of the spring flowers. So this could be anything, whatever you think is appropriate, and you don't have to do it if you think this is not what you want in your painting. First, and I just splatter lemon yellow, and then maybe a little bit different colors. Why don't I choose orange or red or something like that? Yeah, here in San Diego, outside is full of flowers, wildflowers, and of course people's gardens, and that's a different kind of house plants and flowers as well. But even the outside landscape, it's filled with wildflowers and all sorts of colors. I was outside. I go for a walk every day whenever I can, and I was so mesmerized with all the colors, and I took photos every time I saw a different color. And I came home with a few dozens of photos. That's how many colors I saw. So I'm very inspired today. So I don't mind making this area very, very colorful. So I added, first I started with a lemon yellow, and I did a red, and then this purple is a mixture of dioxin violet and then a little bit of lavender to make it opaque. And actually this color may be good to suggest a mountain in the back. There is a mountain in the back, and maybe you didn't notice, and it's very blurry in the original photo, but that's what it is. Okay, and actually this color, not alone, but I will use this to paint the roof. So I want to make it a little bit more dark, more grayer. So I added this color, Viridian burnt sienna mixture, just a little bit, just a hint to the purple mixture to paint the roof. Okay, and then I get gray like this. But I have to be very, very careful because just outside the roof is, especially the top of the roof, is a sky, which is still wet. So if I don't paint inside the roof very carefully, this color might escape. The colors from outside coming in is not a problem for me, but I don't want this gray to go outside. So I'm painting very carefully. It may be a little bit risky, too risky to do that to that roof and this roof, so I will wait. But in the meantime, I will do other things. Maybe to show these rows a little bit more clearly, a little bit diluted gray I just use. I'm putting in between rows like this. But mind you, if your field is too wet, you don't want to do it right now because this gray lines, I don't want these gray lines to be too rigid, a little bit blurry. But if the paper is too wet, you will not show lines. Okay, so you will have to wait or not do it at all. All right, so right now it's going to be like this. And actually, it's a sunny day, and I'm looking at my sketch, and I understand the sun is coming into the scene this way. So any shadow, anything that's in the sunlight should have shadow. And I don't mind using this gray for the shadows, like for the tractor. Yeah, it's in the sunlight, so it should have shadow. The shadow has to go that way, not the other way, because the sun is on the right side of the scene. Okay, so, but anything else that should have shadows, I can't do it now, or there's nothing else, no other shadows, or I just can't do it right now because the paper's too wet. But of course, if there's anything that's outside the picture, but I'm not too far from this scene, could have shadows, especially those things are on the right side of the scene, right? So I'm thinking maybe because it's a bit empty here, so I'm making a little shadow, just shadow, not showing the very thing that's casting shadows. Okay. So I took care of lots of things in the field. Right now I'm scratching using a palette knife just to add some texture. Okay, so this, I don't want to make it too interesting because it's really the bottom of the painting. It shouldn't be too exciting, in my opinion, but I wanted to add a little bit more colors than I see in the original painting. Okay, so this is really the first part of the painting, and I can keep going, but I really have to make sure the next thing I do will be whatever color I use will be put on top of the color I just used, right? Except for the white areas. So for those white areas,
would it be a natural place to take a pause then here, Keiko, or would it be?
Sure.
Yeah, should we do that?
Okay.
Okay, perfect. It's moving on at a pace, and I hope you're keeping up. Really interested to see how you do. But I can smell the grass, and isn't it lovely and really nice with the lines that Keiko's doing on the lawn there, and it brings it all to life. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'd really appreciate it if you could press the thumbs up button, as it ensures YouTube recommends the class to more people, helping us spread the benefits of creativity to a wider audience, young and old alike. Also, if you subscribe to our channel on YouTube, you not only get notified when we launch new videos, you also get entered into a lucky dip every month where we randomly pick a subscriber to enjoy a 2 to 3 hour workshop of their choice, worth up to £38. This month, the lucky winner of a complimentary workshop is Lark Mangles, and we've messaged you on your YouTube channel. So if you can let us know or get in touch through our website, and then we can sort out the workshop for you. So congratulations. As I covered at the start, this special Arty class is a shorter prelude to Keiko's full 2 to 3 hour workshop webinar, which is happening next week. In our workshops, we have a lot more time, and you can speak directly to the artist for guidance should you wish. You can also get a written critique of your art after the event, as well as obtain access to the video, so you can then go back and repeat the class as many times as you want. Some people feel that a shorter 45-minute or 1 hour class is just fine, but it just doesn't compare to our workshops. Now, normally our workshops are priced at £38 for the 2-3 hour session, or around £14 per hour. I guess that would be about $16-17 an hour. But since it's our birthday today, we really want to see if we can get as many people as possible to give a workshop a go, and we felt that seeing as we were hosting Keiko today, it was the best opportunity to introduce you to it today. So we've had a chat with Keiko, and she's agreed that we can reduce our workshop price to £25. It's more than 30% off. It's a really great deal. So if you've not tried a full workshop before, now is your chance to give it a go, and it's happening next Thursday at 3:30 in the afternoon. So a spring one, and it's going to be a little bit different as well, because we've been talking about this plein-air thing, and I'll hand over to Keiko in a minute, and she can explain the sort of things that you're going to be covering, and then obviously I'll show you how you can go about booking that as well. So Keiko, next week it's a spring plein air thing. This is obviously an introduction to it, but what's your intention to do that?
Okay, so as a plein air painter, I can say, it's almost picture perfect scene almost never happens. Eventually you have to pick a place and start painting, right? And but if you're looking for a scene that could be in a travel magazine, you keep looking all day long, never pay. So I chose a photo, which is beautiful. I like the scene, somewhere in Tuscany, the countryside, with a typical building and the field, and just like today's scene. But it's not really exciting, not many colors, but the composition, the basic composition is very strong. So the foundation is already there. So I can just, like I said, if you want to build a strong painting, strong doesn't really mean anything. I'm not talking about colors or anything like that. Just good painting, more than good, actually. If you want to build a strong painting, you need a strong foundation. So that photo shows a strong foundation. So all we need to do as artists is to create a scene we like to see. So I'm asking all the students who are coming to my workshop to use their imagination, and I'm suggesting spring flowers. So all colors and types of flowers you can think of, you can put it in the scene, but on top of the basic composition that's in the photo. So, and that's what most of the time I do, of course, and I don't want to change too much of the scene that I paint when I go outside, but I always have to make some changes to make it look good inside the painting. So that's what I'm going to show you, and I'll offer some tips as a plein air painter. And because the season is now starting for most of us, especially if you're living in the Northern Hemisphere, it's warming up outside, right? So I think this workshop will be helpful for you to get prepared.
I think it sounds lovely, and we've had a few comments about if you could explain about your palette and or the different color choices and how you travel with your plein air palette and whether you have that custom made. And I think we can cover all those sort of things in the workshop as well, which would be great. We can, because we have a lot more time, so we can go into a lot more things in greater depth. So if you want to take part in this workshop, it obviously has limited numbers, but I'll explain to you how you can go about doing that. I do that each week anyway, but I'll share it for those of you that are new. So if you head over to our website, then you click on live events at the top. You then scroll down to Keiko's workshop event just over there and click on the workshop button, and then it will take you through to the page. So we've got a reference painting here, but it's just more of a sample painting. It's not really the painting that you're going to end up with. It's just an example of something. But that's the reference photo that we'll be working with, and we've got the reference materials there. And if you want to pick anything else up, we've also got a great 10% deal with this company that ships globally for materials. So if you're interested, you click the book your webinar, and on Keiko's shop you can then see the ticket for the live webinar, and you simply just add that to your cart. And as you can see, it's already been discounted. It's at the £25 rate. And if you want to add the video, the full price is £42, but for an additional £10 you get the video as well on top of the live webinar entry. And just check out. And if you're paying in a foreign currency, it will be converted at checkout by your local bank or card. Once we've launched the video, you can then go to our video library on our website. And if you've purchased it, you click on the it's a really good video, by the way. It just explains the difference between patrons and purchasing things. And if you then go to our library here, you can then just press the watch button as long as it's been unlocked for you, and you can just watch the video as many times as you want within that thing. And obviously we've got loads of, you'll be able to find all the other Keiko videos there as well that we've done in the past. So hopefully that helps.
Okay, so let's go back to France.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so we're gonna finish now, but first let's take care of where we save the white of the paper. I don't really think this painting needs too much white spaces, but whenever I want the white color to be shown in my painting, I try to save the whiteness of the paper there. So I don't paint there. So that requires a little bit of planning. But since this painting, I didn't mean to leave anything white, so I didn't have to plan. But if I don't want the colors to interact too much or get blended, I have to make sure to do something to separate the colors. That's why sometimes I have to leave some spaces white in the beginning.
Now, Keiko, Marcia's made the comment because she emailed me yesterday about this, and it's about your handheld palette and that you use for plein air. Have you modified it at all, or what do you tend to use for your plein air?
Oh, I didn't modify. I just purchased this palette made by Holbein.
Holbein, yes. I think you've mentioned it before, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can find it in wherever you shop. I mean, the same palette, but I purchased it in Japan. It's actually a Japanese company.
Ah, okay.
But since most of us shop online nowadays, right? So maybe you can just search online on the internet. Maybe you can find it. But it's not really made for plein air painting. I just like the size because when you go outside, you don't want to take too many things or heavy things, right? So I just like, and also I don't really use lots of different colors. But this one can, even though it's small, can hold 16 colors, one in each well. So that's quite a lot.
Yeah.
And, I don't really need the 16 colors actually. So
now Karen's actually said that she got one from Jackson's, and that's the thing that we've got that 10% off link. So if you want to create a new account via that link, you'll get 10% off the price. And I think they do ship globally, because I don't know quite where you are, Marcia, but they do ship around the world. So hopefully you could get some money off as well.
Yeah, it's worth try and just check what they have. Well, anything similar is fine, actually. But I do like this Homai palette because of the size, and also it's made with metal, so it's not too heavy, but it's not too light. I just like holding the palette in my hand, and if it's too light, I don't know. Maybe it works for some of you. If it's lighter, maybe it's better. But for me, feeling the weight of the palette just a little bit is good, and so. I know they have another version which is made with aluminum. That's, of course, it's lighter, but I prefer this one.
Yeah.
And also, if you take good care, it can last for a long time. But anyway, let me go back to the painting, talking about the painting. And I started putting colors first in the building. And the roof and the building. Building, I decided to darken a little bit, but not as dark as the roof. As you can see, it's still a little bit lighter. But at the same time, I started putting trees around the buildings, right? And also in front of the building as well. So different types of greens. So if you already have different greens in your palette, that's what I'm using. And from the previous wash, actually, I didn't wipe the palette green. I left all the leftovers on purpose, really. So knowing that I will probably use those colors alone or mix with other different colors. Either way, yeah, it's helpful. So don't throw it away. If you already did, it's too late. But this time I wanted to show different types of greens, but a little bit thicker. As you can see, it's thicker, right? And then I was waiting for the background area to dry a little bit so I can show these trees with a little bit more definition. Of course, if the paper is too wet, even with the same action, I would not be able to show the trees this way. It will get blurry and get, and the colors might spread a little bit. So it might even make a mess. And so it's very, very important to know the timing and the watercolor painting. So you can place trees, especially the sky. Background is mostly sky, but we did a little bit of mountain. So the background is dry. You can place trees anywhere you want. And it's your landscape. So just create your scene. And then the trees can be different shapes and size. And so in addition to changing colors, you can, make them look a little bit more interesting by showing different size and shapes. And okay, and but if the trees are behind, if something is behind something else, let me put it that way. That's another way to show depth, right, in a painting. So that's why I wanted to put some trees behind the building and in front of the building as well. Okay, so this way, I did lots of trees, but it didn't take me a long time because the colors were already there in my palette. All right, so let me do the tractor. I don't know if there's different colors, but that's the tractors I have painted so far. Red and blue.
Keiko, what Victoria's asked, what sort of brush were you using for the trees there?
Oh, that was Asian brush. I wouldn't say calligraphy brush because it could be for painting, but there's not much difference. So, you can look for Asian calligraphy brush or Asian painting brush or Oriental brush or something like that. If you want to purchase one, that's what I use.
Okay.
So the tractor, I'm using alizarin crimson here to make it a little bit.
And Carol's asked, when you paint the trees, are you using neat paint or have you watered it down a bit? Because it looks quite dry when you're applying it.
What was the word?
On the trees,
Yeah.
are you painting the trees with neat paint, or have you watered it down to a
Oh, okay. It was an interesting usage of the word. Uh, it's quite thick. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I think I use the word thick, and but the paper, it's that too is important, but also the paper, the condition of the paper should be quite dry. Okay, even if you
Yes.
do the same thing but on a wet paper, you get a totally different result.
Yeah.
So today, well, because I'm sure it's going to get warm later in the day, but it's before 7 in the morning, and my studio is a bit cold, and so the painting is not drying quickly. And so some things I was planning to do, I may not do in order to finish this in time.
I think you moved into your new place at the beginning of this year. Have you settled in there now, Keiko?
Oh yes, thank you. Yeah, finally, this place, has started to feel like home.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
First few weeks, it's just a strange feeling, right? Especially when I woke up in the morning, I felt like I was in a hotel room or something. Okay, so anyway, just a little accessories or finishing touches, whatever you think is good. I'm doing a fence-like thing over there, and of course this tractor might be, especially the part I'm painting right now, where the person is, maybe better if it's more defined. But the background is a building is still very wet, so I will not be able to show that area the same way I did in the original photo. But that's fine. This is a different painting. Yeah, I just wanted to show you how to do a landscape with using spring colors and then also plein-air style. Well, I mean, it may not be a plein-air style, but if you're outside, you have to paint very quickly, right? You must. You must. If you have no experience, you may not understand what I'm saying, but the light changes all the time, so you must paint quickly, and otherwise it can get very confusing. So how to paint quickly? I think I was able to show you, of course, by simplifying the composition first, and by using limited palette and working from light to dark, and
how will that work in the
painting.
workshop, Keiko? Because obviously the workshops, we've got a lot more time, but obviously in a sort of a plein air style and trying to paint quickly. How
Yes,
is that going
one
to
thing
work?
I want to talk and explain more. Today I just didn't have time. I want to explain very carefully and at length is the tonal values. It's so important to understand that. And even you're outside, if you take a few minutes, just a few minutes to do tonal study first, you can paint quickly. I think it's not secret, but if you believe me, just taking a few minutes to do that beforehand, and you can, you'll be amazed how quickly you can paint, because by doing that you understand the most important thing. So without that knowledge and without that understanding, I think the painting process it can be confusing, especially if you're
Yeah.
outside. And so that's what I want to talk about in the beginning, and only in the workshop I'll do that.
Yeah.
So
Sinclair said, I'm really interested in the technique you use for painting the trees, which look so natural. And I think it's just, that probably just comes, does it come with a lot of experience, just knowing the texture of the paint and the,
maybe because outside, obviously, the trees, there are lots of trees, right? And of course,
yeah.
it depends on where you paint. But even in cities, and I think the trees are in almost anything you pick outside. So yeah, by painting outside, whether you like it or not, you're getting a lot of practice painting trees.
Yes.
So, after doing it a while, it becomes a muscle memory almost, right?
Yeah.
So whenever you need a good looking trees, and even if you don't know how, but I think your hand or remembers, so you can do it. Yeah, I mean, the quick paint, this is just a quick painting. So all you need is the knowledge about the size and shape. That's all you need, really. And
Yeah.
of course, the colors on top of that. But
Yes.
if you already have colors, appropriate colors in your palette, all you need to know is a size and shape. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Bobby said, I've got a terrible connection today. Did you talk about blue color used in the windows?
no, I didn't
Not sure.
mention
I
it. I
don't think
think
we
I
did
was
use.
painting too quickly, or in some I don't know.
What was the mix of
I'm
paint
talking
you
about
did for
something
the
else.
windows? It was the
No,
same
that's
that
the
you used for
lavender.
the
Lavender.
lavender. Yes. Okay, that was
Yeah.
it.
And also the colors too. I will explain more. Each time I use a different color in a workshop, and I will let you know. Okay, so that's something doesn't happen. Sometimes it doesn't happen in a free class because of the time. Um, and and of course, I cannot talk about a few things at the same time simultaneously. So, but
Yes.
there's so much information I would like to give, and it's just not easy to do in the 45 minutes, right? But in the workshop we have more time, so I'm able to tell you everything I'm thinking and why I'm doing this, why I'm choosing
Yeah.
a particular color, everything. So I hope.
And that's why we're trying to help you out. If you've not tried a workshop before, give it a go this time and just see what difference it is. It does need you to book out a little bit more time in your calendar, but just give it a go and see what you think, because it will open your eyes to the sort of the level of information and the depth and how much time, because we have to kind of, a lot of our Arty classes, we race through a lot of things, and we're covering quite a lot of stuff in a short amount of time, but it gives you a lot more time to discuss things with the artist and really find out more things about it. So it will really help you to develop your skills. And how have you got on, really? I mean, we'd love to find out what you've produced today with your spring scene. Also, if you've got any words for Keiko that you'd like me to pass on to her, please do start writing that now in the Q&A, and I'll mention that to her later. I've created the post on Facebook, so if you can share a photo of your painting on that Facebook post, that would be fantastic. And have a look at what other people have done, because everyone's is different. And if you do like what you see, don't be afraid to just give them a little like or some words of encouragement, because it's a really nice community thing that we're trying to build up there. So literally just search for Shopkeep Arty on Facebook and you'll find the post for this class there. So the end of another great Arty webinar. I'll go back to Keiko's painting obviously in a minute. If you do want to join Keiko and I next Thursday at 3:30 in the afternoon, there are limited spaces, but don't forget to head over to the Shopkeep Arty website like I showed you, and it's less than £10 or $13 an hour, so it really is a great value chance to try a full workshop out. Now let me come back to Keiko and I'll read some comments out. Keiko. Wendy said, wonderful. Thank you, Keiko. I'll see you in Vermont in July. Oh, let's hope so. That would be great. Trina said, this class has been fabulous. I'm looking forward to getting out to the local farms and ranches to paint and practice what Keiko's teaching. It gets hot up here very, very quickly. Keiko is always just wonderful. I'll always also have to practice those tree strokes. I'm very excited about Keiko's workshop next week, so that's great. Karen said, fantastic as always. Can't wait for the workshop. Really looking forward to it. Victoria said, fantastic painting, Keiko. Thank you. And don't worry, Victoria, we'll go back to the painting in a minute. Eva, wonderful session with Keiko. Thank you. Hazel, great class, Keiko, thanks. Looking forward to the longer class. Rachel, tell Keiko hi from Rachel. She mentors me. That's Raquel Cole, Rachel Cole. Sue, brilliant demo, Keiko. Reminds me of how much I'm missing France. Oh, let's not go there. Judy, Keiko, it's so good to see you and watching you paint this lovely spring scene. Looking forward to seeing you soon. So that's from Judy Young. July said, thank you for the beautiful painting and interesting hints. I hope to watch you next week. Bobby, thanks and look forward to plein air tips. And Helena, thank you very much for a great demo. So thank you so much, Keiko. It's been a really lovely Arty class, and it's kind of got us in the mood. I know it's quite early and dark where you are at the moment, but it's
but sun's coming. Well, it looks very foggy, but sun's coming up.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to doing that next year.
Well, thank you so much, John, for having me today. And thank
no problem. And before we go, I hope you will join myself and Keiko. Are you going to watch the premiere of our birthday thing in about half an hour?
I think so.
Brilliant,
yeah,
brilliant.
I just have to make a fresh cup of coffee and I'm
ready. Exactly. I'll do the same. So I hope you can join Keiko, myself and other artists as well for our 1 year birthday highlights premiere, which is going to be taking place in just over 30 minutes. So simply head over to our website and there's a link there from our live events, or you can just go to our YouTube channel and it should be there as well. So until next time, it's obviously goodbye from me, but obviously thank you so much. And goodbye to Keiko. Thank you very much, Keiko. It's been lovely.
I hope to see many of you next week.
Thank you. And I think you deserve a round of applause. And we'll finish off on your painting as well. Thank you very much.